Hello, this is Soundout here, back with another Kamen Rider review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Figurerise-6 Kamen Rider Kabuto model kit. You're currently watching the standard YouTube version of this review, but if you'd like to watch this review that's been pushed to the next level, be sure to check out the first link below to go to herotaku.com and watch the enhanced review. But if not, let's clock up and begin the review. Now, before we get to the actual figure, I do want to take a quick look at the packaging, the box that this model kit came in. Because it is quite nice, as you can see. Masked Rider Kabuto, Kamen Rider Kabuto. The actual figure here and all the different things we can do. The Figurerise-6 logo here. A couple pictures of Kabuto on either side. And on each side you got the basic rundown of accessories. And also showing that you can also make Dark Kabuto if you wish. I'll go into how that happens later. And an image of Dark Kabuto and Kabuto fighting with a description of Kabuto and all the trademark information. Nothing on the back, so it's a model kit. You get the idea. But anyways, that's how the box looks, just in case you're looking for this on the aftermarket and, well, there's no pictures of the actual figure, you're looking for a box, there's the box. There you go. Now, let's take a look at Kabuto himself. Alright, so here we are with Kamen Rider Kabuto, the Figurerise-6 model kit. Now, before we get to the actual figure, we're going to take a quick look at a couple things here. First off, like mentioned on the packaging, you do get alternate stickers, so if you do want to build Dark Kabuto instead, it is possible. These stickers just replace and add in the detail for Dark Kabuto. There is a little bit of extra paint detail that you'll need to put in order to make that, but it is a nice alternate build if you want a Dark Kabuto instead of Kabuto. Also, the instruction manual has this great looking image on the front, and you can take a look on the back here for more detailed images of how Dark Kabuto would look. Again, you'd have to paint the horn black and such. But if you did want to, there's your color guide. I don't know how many of you out there read Japanese, but there you go. And then everything else we'll be covering here. But I will say I like the instruction manual. For those worried that you need to read Japanese to build this kit, no you don't. It's all A40, D23 kind of thing. It's simple, and just read it, and be careful if you're wanting to build regular Kabuto like me. You want to make sure that the stickers you're putting on aren't dark Kabuto stickers instead. But that being said, here he is in rider form, but I really want to start in masked form, as it is the main attraction really for this kit. For a lot of people, is because you can armor him up and put him in masked form, so let's put on the armor. Alright, so here we have Kamen Rider Kabuto in his masked form. Now, normally with my reviews I like to go in depth and show how armor transformation works or whatever. I'm not going to be doing that for this review because the parts that make up masked form are crazy intricate, and a lot of little pieces are involved. The biggest thing is these shoulder pads disassemble into 5 parts. 4 parts. Yeah, 4 parts on those shoulder pads. And it gets really complicated. So, for the sake of time and not to bore you, we're going to go with, if you really want to see the transformation on the kit, buy the kit. But yeah, it's really neat. Everything kind of, as expected, clamshells. You got 2 pieces for the helmet plus the head crest. You also got, 4 pieces on the shoulder, the red piece, the little black cap, and the 2 halves of the shoulder, and then these pieces attach on. Now, the hands are different hands for masked form with the hand covers, and you get an open holding things hand and a fist. Nothing else for masked form. You could put the rider form hands on, but it'll look weird without the armor on there for accuracy-wise. So the only thing you really can get him to do is hold the kunai gun, which we'll get to in a little bit. Now, he is quite articulated. Not much of the articulation is removed. Now, to start off, he's got the ball joint neck. You can see the articulation better in the later segments. Now, it does have the ability to turn 360. Being a little careful because I just turned the neck portion. The shoulders do have their full range. The only issue is that these upper arm pieces have no way of clicking in, and they kind of mesh with the shoulder pad to make that work. He does have double jointed elbows, which is still retained, which is impressive. This piece, yeah, like I said, that piece just kind of lays loose. Now, he does have ball jointed wrists, despite having a pin connection on the wrist. There is a slight ball joint because it is a ball polycap in there, which is really cool. He's got torso articulation, a little bit limited in this form. He's got waist articulation. His Zector pops off if you try to turn his waist with the Master Form armor on. And, oh no, I just dropped a tiny Zector. Speaking of Zector, here it is. Leg articulation-wise, he's got the ball-jointed, universal jointed hips. They do come down a bit, too, so you can get to that rider kick type pose. And that just separated. Thing about model kits, snap-together model kits in particular, they will do that. Things will fall off. They're not quite as robust as SH Figuarts, where you could tug on the leg a little bit and it won't, disassemble. Also, this Zector is kind of a problem. But he's got double joint. That Zector will not stay on. Okay. Double joint knees, and he's got a full ankle articulation, which is really great considering in rider mode Kabuto does a lot of kicking. Now, getting everything to stand and balance isn't too hard. My previous MG Figureise purchases had issues standing without their stands. And with that in mind, I've only owned 2 other MG Figureise or Figureise figures. They were MG, are the larger size. Figurerise-6 are these new 6-inch scale, which is why when you bring in MG Figureise Wild Tiger, you notice that Kabuto only goes up to about his waist. And I'm going to hold. Oh look, Wild Tiger actually stand. So you can see that the original MG Figureise kits were much larger, so the double O's, Skull, Rider 1, ones that were released in the past are not to scale with this new kit and the Fize kit that also came out. They are the Figurerise-6. But we'll get to some more size comparisons with our 6-inch figures when we get to Rider form. But, masked form. Now, what's really cool is the way they did the hands. This could have been a simple wedge the weapon into hand thing, but Bandai, being the geniuses they are, and this I noticed with my HG Shining Gundam kit, is that the hand actually splits in half, and you put the weapon inside. So here we have the Kunai gun in gun mode, and once you get this all lined up, you can just kind of smush it together and it'll mold into place. Here you got the Kunai gun, which overall looks pretty nice. A little under detailed, but considering how many stickers are on a kit that's less than 3,000 yen, I don't blame it. So you can have them posed, ready to shoot a bunch of worms, and really looks cool with the Kunai gun. Now, typically when I have displayed him in masked form, I've displayed him with the Kunai gun because it looks a little awkward of him doing this kind of hand motion and nothing else. But that is the basis of Kamen Rider Kabuto masked form. Do a quick 3D turnaround. And that's the issue. He does fall over. So 3D turnarounds are not happening in this review, apparently, until I put him on a stand. Now, continuing on with the details. Oh, by the way, I should mention this because it does have a separate accessory. You can flip the Kunai gun into its quote-unquote axe mode, which just uses the same hand, which is perfectly fine. You just flip it around here, and you do get this additional silver blade piece to make it more like an axe, as opposed to, a gun that's being held by the weird handle it has at the front of it. And fitting it in his hand here, and now you got masked form with the axe. Now, issues with this form. Armor piece. If you just noticed, the upper armor pieces do like to slide off a lot. There is really nothing holding them in but friction and mashing the shoulder pad down on them in hopes they don't move. Also, with the way the armor is, he's very top heavy. Doesn't add to the already awkward weight balance that the figure has, it does make them a little weird. But that being said, that is masked form. There isn't really much else to it. So, in true Kabuto fashion, we need to cast off. And to do that, we need to cut away. And now we have Kabuto's rider form once again. I must say, removing the cast-off parts for the masked form is a lot easier than putting them on. Just kind of make them explode a bit. But here we are back in rider form. Now we can take a look at the closer details. Everything from the belt down is the same. Everything from the waist up is different. Articulation is roughly the same. You got new ball joints here with even a... This was really impressive to me. It actually has an inward shoulder articulation. These shoulder pads get out of the way for all poses. It feels like an SH figure art that you can build, and that's pretty cool. Also, the head has double joints. It has joints at the neck and at the head part, which is really cool. But the stickers aren't too bad. A lot of them stay in place, which is really nice for a Bandai kit. Now, that being said, Kabuto does have quite an array of accessories to add to the awesomeness that he already is. Now, to start off, we have alternate hands. As you can see, he's got the standard fists. We already saw the two masked form hands, the holding hand and the fist. But we also have, for rider form Kabuto, two open relaxed hands. There. We get a kunai gun holding hand that, splits the same as the masked form one did. We get a pointing to the path of heaven hand, which is Kabuto's signature pose. And what's really cool is that each of these hands that are open have a sticker for the red inside. So that was really neat. Plus, this is on an even more of an angle, so you can replicate the pose properly. And lastly, we have a hand that has a hole in it that we'll get to next. So a total of 4 rider form, that is. A total of 7 hands, which isn't bad. A total of 9 for the kit overall. That's better than some figure arts I know. Here's looking at you, Agito ground form. Anyways, other accessories. One that I thought was kind of pointless, but a little neat, was you do get another Kabuto Zector. This one is supposed to be the Zector off the belt, so it has legs, and the wings can actually open and close, and these are actual individual pieces that had to be attached to the model, and they were really tiny, but not the tiniest piece on this thing. Overall, the little Kabuto Zector here is nicely detailed. It is a neat inclusion, but I don't see a point to it since he's already henshined. There's no additional things that he needs. He doesn't need an additional Zector. But it may be cool if they do all the Kabuto riders, and then you can have a little collection of Zectors. But that will be yet to be seen. The kunai gun, which we saw in gun mode here, can be used by Kabuto in his rider form, but the thing that he never used in masked form was the actual blade portion, the kunai portion. So you take the handle away, you bring in the actual energized blade here, and now we got the full-on kunai sword weapon. As you can see, there's stickers everywhere. Anything that's not silver is a sticker, which is everything except for the handle. Now, it is one sticker that wraps around the whole thing, and this is probably one I won't paint over because of how intricate the details are. But yeah, really cool. You can, of course, give it to Kabuto to hold. It's simple as slapping this hand around it. And I mean slapping because that's the best way to do things, is just manhandle it until it works. Pop the hand off. Oh, by the way, even the closed fists have the extra sticker in it. I love that. And now you got Kabuto. Let's give him an open hand. Kabuto is all ready to cut somebody up, cut a worm up, while in clock up, or whatever he wants, because he's Kabuto. You don't stop Kabuto. And, honestly, it looks pretty cool. And then we get into bizarre accessory territory with the Zect Mizer. So obscure and so underused that the SH Figuarts release never came with this. And I honestly thought that this would be the kind of pointless accessory that a Figuart would come with. But it is the Zect Mizer. It's got 4 tiny Kabuto Zectors, which are all individual pieces that had to be cut off the sprue. The sprue was literally wider than these things. But they are nice and snug in there. 1 sticker on the top. Overall, a nice inclusion. And that hand with the hole in it is for the Zect Mizer. I don't really know any poses to put him in because he barely used this in the show. It was more used by some of the other Kabuto riders. But maybe it'll be an accessory reuse in the future. I would really like to see all the Kabuto riders in this line, especially with their masked form parts. Anyways, that's pretty cool. So overall, for standard accessories that can be used by the figure, not too bad. Also, in this form, he is balanced, which means I could possibly do a 3D turnaround. Let's try it now. Let's get at least 1 rotation around Kabuto here. Come on. Come on. He made it. He made it. He passed the test. He has balance. Can we go for 2? Can we go for 2? Twice around. Now he's starting to shake a little bit. And watch as I stop it, he'll fall. Oh, he didn't fall. You're awesome, Kabuto. So anyways, pretty cool. Now, because Figurize is awesome, they include some other things. The first thing I don't like all that much, for various reasons, but we'll get into it. Let's move Kabuto to the side right now. And that is the stand. Now this is a stand which is a nice design. It's the mechanics Tamashii stage. You also get several arm pieces. You get one that's a little taller, one that's a little more bent over, and you get an extension that can be used with either of them to make it a bit taller. And these slide into place. Now the issue comes in, this feels like really not sturdy plastic, that it could break very easily. And then it has a connection joint, which I've already broken. The idea is that I thought that what you do with this joint is put it together once, and then turn it, and then bam, that came off, and I'm trying to put some tack. I got some stick tack on here to try to keep it in. But what you're supposed to do is actually split this open like this, and then adjust the angle. But I was mistaken. It won't happen again. Hopefully, if I don't forget that it breaks. But be warned that that is a possibility. That being said, I will demonstrate one pose with this stand, and that is what we're going to do now. And that pose is, this stand is too tall for Kabuto. And then you take the extension off, and he falls off because he's not actually pegged in, he's just got sticky tack on him. And then you take the extension off, and you put it down here, and then now he's, like, awkwardly placed. It's either too short or too tall or at an awkward angle. I don't like this stand very much. It's not well made. The plastic feels kind of cheap, and it feels like the part of the budget that was used for the stand was taken and given to make the Zect Mizer. And I like the Zect Mizer a lot more. That being said, normal Tamashii stage, clip is still wide enough to hold Kabuto. It didn't even hold him off the ground. I mean, he's not heavy, he's a model kit. He's literally, like, almost weightless. But that being said, there you go. He works on a Tamashii stage. This one's just not even worth my time. So, with Kabuto being a Figurerise-6 as opposed to an MG Figurerise, which would never scale with Figuarts because of how large they are, I wanted to bring in a few size comparisons. First off, here is a recent Kamen Rider, main Rider SH Figuart, Kamen Rider 4Z. It's actually the last main Rider that I've bought in the Figuarts line. I passed on Wizard and got the WAP instead, and, well, you all know my obsession of Gaim arms change figures. And overall, he fits in really nicely with these two. You know, with Gaim being a little bigger than a Figuart and Kabuto being a little bigger than Gaim, it makes Kabuto kind of a tall dude, which he was, and it works out pretty well. But to bring in a size comparison of a full-sized Kamen Rider as opposed to a teenage Kamen Rider, here is Ixa, Rising Ixa, and as you can see, well, Kabuto is just a little bit taller. And honestly, when I have these guys posed, they're not standing straight up. and he blends in pretty well. My desk display, he just kind of blended in, looks nice, and will look even nicer when you get some silver paint on him. So overall, it works very well for, scaling purposes with SH Figuarts. Especially when you can bring in the past Kamen Rider of the Kabuto Beetle, Stronger. So these two can have a little bit of team up. I don't know, Stronger always looked kind of short as a figure art, but that being said, these two look great together, and I'm glad I finally have a Kabuto to join Stronger in the Kabuto Beetle family. So now let's move ahead to that last final bonus accessory that I'm considering a bonus accessory in 1, 2, 3. Rider Kick. This is the coolest thing. An effect piece. I love effect pieces. When action figures have these to replicate a flashy effect from the series, it just makes that action figure so much better. And honestly, I can't really top this. That's why I saved it for last. Because when you can replicate Tendo Soji's Rider Kick, you cannot continue the review much further. With that being said, Figurerise-6 Kamen Rider Kabuto model kit is awesome. And I realize the base is kind of turning in the wrong direction for that kick. I apologize. Overall, I couldn't be happier with this model kit, especially with its retail cost of less than 3,000 yen, making it the cheapest 6-inch Kamen Rider Kabuto figure at retail, and it has the most accessories of them all. The thing that really sold me on this kit was the masked form pieces, and I was not disappointed. The effect piece was great. The Zect Mizer was a hilarious bonus accessory inclusion, and aside from the stand being kind of meh, this figure is really good. I think it's awesome and deserves to be in any Kamen Rider collection. Unfortunately, the normal place I buy things from, AmiAmi, has sold out of both Kabuto and the other Figurerise-6 Kamen Rider kit that came out. But if they hadn't, I probably would have ordered one to get Dark Kabuto. So anyways, stay tuned for more Figurerise-6 reviews in the future, as anytime Bandai puts out a Figurerise-6 Kamen Rider, I will buy it. And also be sure to keep your eyes out for next time we take a look at Faiz. Also check out Hirotaku.com for all your Kamen Rider news, and discuss Kamen Rider Kabuto on the Hirotaku.com forums at hirotaku.com/forums. And check out Radio Nihon for Kamen Rider Kabuto music and podcasts. Until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.